Good morning, comic book fam. Good morning. It's this day of the week where we're gonna do even more King in Black. So today we're gonna be talking about Gwenom versus Carnage and the issue number one of the three-part miniseries in the King in Black event. So for those who don't know Gwenom, she is not from this Earth, right? Like, she was transferred from Earth 65, if I remember correctly, to this one, and she knows Peter Parker, she knows Miles Morales. Like, Miles Morales is also somewhere here on that Earth, which is really worth remembering, and she's just a female Spider-Man, right? She had some cool stories, but like I never really got into her. I was like, all right, cool, maybe now, right? There's Astonishing Spider-Man coming, maybe I'm gonna get into that. So this is a part one, of course, written by Shannon Maguire, I hope I pronounced correctly, and artist is Flaviano. With a colorist also deserves Rico Renzi, an amazing colorist. So this is exactly what you think. Gwenom versus Carnage, and of course Gwenom because Spider-Gwen kind of gets Venom, right, for the first time. But at the same time, this is a prelude to their battle. So this is an introduction to their battle and what may happen, right? So in this you can read that literally after King in Black 2, which I think that's where you should, because at this point in time, the Earth is slowly covered with the goo, as they call it, and they call it across all the books. I'm going to call it goo, so it's symbiote goo across the globe. And we have actually throughout this tie-in Thunderbolts and Plan of Symbiote tie-ins, because they you should read them kind of right after King in Black 2. We learn how the Earth looks like right now, which is really cool. So if you touch the goo, it changes you, it transforms you to another symbiote that, well, if someone kills you, well, they kill symbiote and you, right? Which is more touched upon in the Thunderbolts 3-issue miniseries. But let's get to this book right there. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't think so far, like, looking at all the tie-in books that I've read so far, also counting Thunderbolts and Planet of Symbiotes, my goodness, and that's a morning coffee, that's what it does to me. The all ties are pretty good. Maybe, okay, Doctor Doom and stuff, like, it was still 6 out of 10, it was not bad. So, let's kick off over here, right? So, we got Spider-Gwen. She is a Gwen, that is, if I remember correctly, she is Gwen Stacy. And we start with, of course, her voice. It's like, well, Empire State University, right? You can see the Earth, like, you can see the dragons flying. Everything is in symbiote goo. That's usual. And we see her swinging around. And what is really important here is that her costume is gonna change as the whole thing goes, right? So she kinda has the symbiote, not yet. She didn't touch the goo. But we learned that the symbiotes are actually not triggering her spider sense because of, well, there are symbiotes that are like Spider-Man, so Venom, whatever, just not triggering spider sense. Not really established. But as she runs to someone who's being slowly turned into a pod, so he's gonna be turned into Venom, she slowly transforms herself. So we kind of learned that she already might have a Venom, and slowly actually touched the goo, and her actual costume is here starting to change. So he tries to rescue the guy from the pod, but she can't, so she gets her ass kicked, and the guy just comes out as one of the Null guys, right? Like, big Null, Null-like character, Null-like symbiote that she can't defeat, destroy her webbing, so she runs away, she makes an escape, and from this point now on, we have her in a full-on black suit, and you can tell it, especially right here, she's back in black, a full-on black suit, so it is already contrasting to what we've seen in the opening scene where she still has some of the pink, some of the white, and now the pink and white is it's gonna be usually here over the cape and later only on the inside with the pink. So she goes into the dormitory, and in the room there are a couple of her friends from the university. And she goes like, well guys, we are screwed. This is not looking good. Out there, I barely made it back. It's just, wow, it's rough, and I don't think I can go there again to give us food or like anything, you know. It's hard. And you know, they're like, hey, you know, let us do it, alright? Like, maybe it's not as bad as it, and bam, there goes a dragon. And this dragon actually covers everything with the goo. Gwen tries to stop it, tries to lure it out, but she kind of not necessarily fails to do that, but the dragon already covers the whole room with its goo. So her friends are being turned into the new Venoms, right? So she has to escape, and well, she goes like, you know what? I gotta run, like I gotta bail. So she puts a lot of web on her shoes, right? On her boots, shoes, so she's not going to be touching the goo, and she rides on the dragon, which is actually a pretty cool scene if you ask me. And as I said, right, she is in full on, there you go, in the full on Venom suit. And again, the more book goes on, the more she looks like that. So now slowly you can see spikes happening. Of course, still a white cape. And she goes, alright, well, this is not working. Like, I'm really getting my ass kicked. Like, the goo is getting me. I'm gonna, like, by accident, I just destroyed that dragon. I have to go back home. I have to teleport. And she has a teleporting necklace, so she grabs it from Earth 65. She's like, alright, let's do it. But at the same time, there's a Mary Jane actually on the table on Earth 65. And as, of course, our Gwen touches the necklace, Mary Jane from that Earth, which is also Gwen Stacy's Earth, comes from her body to this brand new Earth that is being, well, held kind of hostage by Null, god of symbiotes, and she fell straight to the goo. She goes like, Gwen, what are you? Splat onto the goo. And we learned that, well, right now, God of Symbiotes Null sees through the eyes of the MJ. He sees the Spider Gwen. He sees a Gwenom. He's like, oh, interesting. Something new. I know you're not Brock. You're something new. But you know what? I'm gonna kill you. And I have someone to do it. And you can call him Carnage. So MJ becomes a Carnage. So we got Earth 65, MJ becoming a Carnage, and that's where the story ends here. Cool prelude. You'll learn a lot about the goo and what the goo can do, about of course the powers of Null, and I think, you know, MJ and Gwen fighting, it's actually kind of poetic, and it's cool to see that, especially like Venom versus Carnage, so Gwenom versus MJ Carnage, however you want to call it. I think it's a cool story. It's a nice short one. For now, for the prelude, I think the issue number 2 is going to be the battle, and then issue number 3 is going to be the ending, as it should, right? You got prelude, so it's kind of like you would write an essay. So you've got the beginning, middle part, and end, and that's how it should be. So yes, this is a solid, strong, I would say 7 out of 10. It's a strong 7 out of 10 because there is no like emotional connection to this book if you haven't read anything of Gwenom before, or Spider-Man before, or anything before. It's like you'll be like, who is MJ? Like if you haven't read that, right? But also, at the same time, you know, you don't really care about those people that are being turned into Venoms. There's not enough pages for that. So for what it is, right, it's really good, and it does a job well. One, also my nitpick, which, god damn it, guys, like, she grabs the necklace, right? Would be cool if you go like, hey, the necklace, we are not explaining this here, go and read this, like, just give us an asterisk, like, in the story over here. So you go like, okay, I know where to go. It's like, right now I have no idea where to look. Should I go Gwenom? Like, which Gwenom? Where's Spider-Gwen? Maybe Amazing Spider-Man? Where? I don't know. which is kind of, you know, pissing me off every single time when they do that. So yeah, they're not going to change that anytime soon. DC is definitely a lot better. Like, you have like almost everywhere those that you can, hey, this is good, this is here, this ties into here, this is like happened there. I would like to see more of that. Art, really good. I enjoyed it. 7 out of 10 for me. Those are like nitpicks, right? You know, you don't really care. It's a cool tie-in. You've learned a few cool things, but it's not something you're also going to be coming back. You know, maybe when the other issues are going to come out, you're going to be like, oh yeah, cool, I might read that, but not yet. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. You can pick up the Gwenom versus Carnage. I think it's a cool tie-in. It's a part, issue number 1 out of 3. They're gonna do a trade paperback out of it that will cost like $20. So I prefer, you know, you going for single issues. Is it a key issue? No, it's not. It might end up in a back issues bin. So yeah, like if you're living in the US. In Europe, that you're kind of screwed, especially in Poland. So yeah, that's kind of what's happening. But it's a cool, nice story. I want to see where this goes, and the battle in between the Gwenom and Carnage. I hope they're going to do a really cool fighting sequences. So thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye, good night, have a fantastic rest of the day. Take care, bye.